And we are back into the action right here at the Turf City Club. A very good afternoon to you. It is an exciting game right before us as Solo Vamos and Tiong Bahru FC fight it out in the Girls Open Final. It's been a very, very thrilling time for us at the Cage Sports Park right here in Turf City. And remember, this is the SingaCup 2021. So it's been, of course, a day full of activities, and the weather's been really good. We always have to be grateful for that. I did pour yesterday. So these girls did watch them in action a while back, and it's been quite an event. The Tiong Bahru girls did have to, well, really strive to earn their keep, and they've been very good. The first shot on goal that comes in from Angelin. Angelin just testing the mettle of the Solo Vamos keeper right at the start of the game. So it will be interesting to see how this contest pans out. But what's most important is this is the final, so there's no second chances. And by the Singapore Girls Open, of course, we do mean very simply it is the adult category. So this is what you're looking at. You're looking at mature, experienced and tried and tested players on field. These athletes have done their bit in the past, and it will be interesting to see what they can offer up here today. So the action continues right on field before us. Getting a view now. And looking for that first shot on goal. A fairly decent enough effort coming in from Sofiana, but she won't trouble the Tiong Bahru keeper too much. So it's end-to-end action, slowly brewing. And that's the first goal. She's knocked that in, touch and go. Kept it very clinical, and that's exactly what you want. So 1-0 Tiong Bahru. Did have a shot on goal early on, Angelin, but this time around, well, Tiong Bahru just reaping the benefits of that shot. So Angelin with the first goal. And that's Angelin Pangyan Ping. She's done well for herself. So second shot on goal, and she's really hit pay dirt with it. Now it's left for Solo Vamos to come up with the reply. And the answer might be quick, or it might take a bit of time. All said and done, we aren't complaining. Coach Rauda is the one in charge of Team Solo Vamos. Remember, of course, it's always going to be a battle when it comes to the open category, because you're looking at players who can really throw in a lot of effort. They have a good bit of skill and a good bit of stamina as well. Coach Jacqueline is in charge of Tiong Bahru girls. So interesting times as far as we are concerned. Remember, we've got two more big finals coming up after this. There is the boys 16 and the girls 16. So it's a day full of activity for all of us here at the Turf City Club. Just a tad bit of defensive work coming there from Nori Dayu. You need to get the ball away from the Tiong Bahru strikers as much as you can, because all of them do like to get behind the ball every now and then, find the back of the net, find great joy in doing that. And that's a fairly spirited run coming up from the custodian, who stretches the breadth of the field, or the length of the field. It's quite interesting, keeping in mind the fact that she's, well, every now and then every player does get that, and every goalkeeper in these games has the opportunity to run up, take a shot on goal. Matter of fact, in the years gone by, have done 4-a-side events or 5-a-side, tournaments where you had the goalkeepers dominate, all the strike right through the entire game. Throw an opportunity, a kick-in opportunity that comes in for Solo Vamos, and they will relish this part, keeping in mind the fact that they would like to, get back on level terms, and to restore parity in the first period itself would serve them well. With normalcy restored on field, it's time to take a shot, and she does go in. It's a bit of a loose-ended kick coming in from the Tiong Bahru custodian, but she'll take her chances all the same. Because that's what you really want to do. Get behind the ball as much as you can, and maybe try and strike. Try and get one goal in every now and then. So that's a misdemeanor on field, which has now, of course, granted a close-up opportunity to Solo Vamos. Well, going for set play, but that's not really going to reap the benefits, but they've done fairly well. The custodian taking the shot, and a decent setup coming in from her teammate. So Tiong Bahru is still going in for the kill. That's well taken there by the custodian of Solo Vamos. But keep in mind the fact that, well, Tiong Bahru FC have been in very, very good, well, shape. And what did happen, of course, a while back is we had a change of the keeper, which is why you've got the custodian now playing up front and her teammate who has donned the gloves. And that's what that delay was about before the free kick. So for Solo Vamos, it's Fana need the bar. And for Tiong Bahru, we've got, of course, a small break before we can get back into the action. So it currently does stand at 1-0. That goal scored by Angelin for Tiong Bahru FC fairly early in the game. They've had a few good shots on goal after that as well. And quite convincing. So you might actually see some more attacks. Clara, she gave us a fantastic effort on goal too. Setting that up once again. That was Angelin. That's stopped by Fana, so no worries at all. It was Vinet moving in down the left flank that set that up this time around. So Tiong Bahru FC in a strong position. They've got few good skills, and it's been very visible in the game so far. And that's Clara, the Tiong Bahru custodian. So the action continues right here at the Derv City Club. This, of course, is the SingaCup 2021. Do keep in mind the fact that this is Singapore's premier youth tournament, where you do see, of course, normally, under normal circumstances, it's 11-a-side games. We had to adapt last year, and we actually went online, lived in the cyber world for a bit, and what a journey it was. This year, we're looking at 4-a-side, and this is really a feeler, a warm-up to get all the youngsters and all the young athletes back onto field. It's been a joyous time for us, and I'm sure the athletes have enjoyed it just as much. Currently, Tiong Bahru FC locked in battle with Solo Wamos, and they still lead 1-0. Time, of course, is moving on. We did have a change of keepers for Solo Wamos, where Fana, of course, gave up the gloves to her teammate, and she's fairly nifty as a runner down the center and down the right flank. So that's the reason why they would have had it deployed more towards attack. Well, that's what I call dangerous season, yeah. For Solo Wamos, you've got to be careful when you're facing off with players who do like to attack, and the ball's that close to goal. That clearance could have just proved to be a tad bit dangerous. So inching, or rather not inching, but actually galloping towards half-time. Remember, it's 12 minutes half and 24 minutes in total. We'll have a 3-minute break, so the total game would, kind of boil down to about 27 minutes. So as far as we are concerned, it's still, well, early days to call anything in this game. And that's picked up safely, no worries at all. So testing the waters time and again, it's Clara and Vinette Lim. This time it was Clara to take a shot on goal. So underneath the bar for Solo Wamos, it's Nori Dayu, who took over from Fana. Fana in attack. Now that's Vinette Lim playing it off Fana's feet. Goes in for goal, but this time around, well, denied not just by the keeper's efforts, but by the crossbar as well, I would say. Just aiming for the target, but needed to get the shooting boots on a bit tighter, and that's exactly what Tiong Bahru FC want to do. They want to extend that lead, create that advantage, so that then, of course, it becomes a bit of an easier track in the second period of play. Now, if we've gone over 12 minutes, that's very simply because, well, we did have 2 breaks in between, and that's accounted for, which is now half-time. And at half-time, the girls' open final being played between Solo Wamos and Tiong Bahru FC, and it is the ladies in blue, Tiong Bahru FC, who take a single-goal lead into the break. Do join us for second-half action to find out which of these two enterprising team of respective ladies will walk away with the trophy. Stay with us. And it's pretty much into the second half of play. Solo Wamos and Tiong Bahru battling it out here in the Girls' Open Final. We've had a few changes as far as the players are concerned, but for most part of it, it pretty much remains unchanged as far as the scoreline is concerned, because Tiong Bahru FC do have a single goal advantage, which they carry into the second leg of play. And it's going to be a very, very interesting one for us, because Solo Wamos may have conceded 1 goal, but they've got the ability to strike, and they've been able to hold off a lot of the Tiong Bahru attacks. So it will be interesting to see if they can actually come to the party, restore parity, and then maybe even go in for a win. So fairly interesting times for us. Fairly interesting times for us as far as we are concerned, and it will be well, an exciting next 12 minutes. So here we go, straight off into the attack. Angeline decides to test the keeper, and Nori Dayu called into action. She's answered perfectly well so far. Vinette Lim gets that ball off Fana's legs, so not a worry at all. Early action, and I have seen, of course, in many cases, a lot of the other matches that were played, especially, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. Many of the teams, they do rely on one very easy element of surprise, and that, of course, is an early attack in the second period. You want to restore, or, you want to basically put yourself into a very, very comfortable position for a win. And that's exactly what they do attempt to do every now and then. So here we go. It's back to Tiong Bahru FC. Clara. Vinette. Oh, just got it straight off her teammate's feet. Was not expecting that interception. Would have been a tad bit easier for Clara had it come in a little earlier. But pushing as far as she can, it's Fana. Fana really trying to, well, get up close and personal with the Tiong Bahru goal. And that's what she's done for, well, the first half of the action. So in this part, there's definitely an opportunity. It's only about whether she can grab it by the horns. So it's Fana back again. Slips it all the way across to Zahira. Here's Angelin. Finds Clara. Clara pushing it across to Vinette. Vinette gets it past Fana to Angelin. Just a slight obstruction there from Zahira. And that's picked up safely by the Solowamos custodian. And that ball sailed out of line, so Nori Dayu will take it. It's a kick in, straight to Zahira. Let's step that away to the left flank. Vinette looking to get ahead. Zahira's down. Vinette, of course, has dragged that past the away post. A bit unfortunate, so close yet so far. Well, pretty much had it right down to, well, this target being in sight. It was just a matter of that finish, but sometimes your feet, of course, do get a bit loose-ended. All said and done, Tiong Bahru is still in a very, very good position. They've been able to thwart most of the attacks from Solowamos, and Solowamos just lacking in that bit of aggression as compared to Tiong Bahru FC. So here it is. Still, there'll be moments, and there'll be moments to, well, claim. Here's Azarine. Well, puts that away from the target, but it's an effort all the same, and you want to probably try and keep the pressure on as much as you can in your opponents every now and then. That's what really keeps, well, them in check. But the moment you get into a defensive shell and let your opponents take over, well, that might change everything around. So the Tiong Bahru custodian not worried as much. She's had her moments, but they haven't been really, well, strong enough for her to have got worried. Here's Azarine to take the corner. Pushes it to Fana. Azarine playing it straight off Angelin's legs. Angelin proving to be the obstruction, so no worries at all for Tiong Bahru FC. At least not for the time being. Azarine with the kick in. Once again, gets it to her keeper. The Solowamos custodian knows very well that she's got her work cut out for her. Remember, it was Fana who was the custodian in the early part of the game before she's handed over the gloves to her teammate. And that took a bit of time. We did have that half a minute break in between. Tiong Bahru FC moving up now, and that's well taken. That's a good bit of goalkeeping. So Solowamos, well, also trying to prove a point that they're here to, well, they're here to win it too. But just struggling a little bit with their midfield and their strike. Well, missing out on that key aspect of attack, which is the killer instinct. And they do tend to fumble just a tad bit when they get closer towards the opposition's goal. It's Azarine. Nori Dayu. Fana on field, along with their custodian. Here's Clara. Angelin finds Vinette, who almost went one-on-one with the Solowamos keeper. So it's been a better second period of play. More of a contest here and more of a balanced contest. Not a one-sided one. So that's exactly what you want to see in the game. So Solowamos have very much got it all to do here in today's game. And if they actually, you know, net the equalizer, it could change everything around. And We're going to have a very quick break before we can get back to the action. Remember, there's just 1 quarter left in this game, and things could change. Things could change. So while the girls, of course, do get a sip of water, let's remind you that we are the Turf City Club coming at you live from the Cage Sports Park. This is an initiative of Dynamic Concepts and jointly supported by Spartak Sports, Joji and SG Singapore Passion made possible. It's been a very, very interesting event, not just for the sport itself, but for the passion and for the heart of the matter. And by that I mean getting to play back again. It's only been in the recent few months that things have started opening up, and seeing live events like this. Of course, restrictions in place. You still have to keep your mask on when you're off the field. You still have to use sanitizer, do everything needed to be safe, but it's opening up. And this is not just a ray, but it's a few rays of hope. So the next year, believe you me, I'll be back again with you, and probably you'll be at the field itself, not just watching us on screen. So exciting times ahead for us, and exciting times ahead for the rest of this game as Tiong Bahru FC and Solo Wamos resume activity on field. It's 1-0. Remember, they're playing for the silverware, they're playing for the trophy. Well, the top 3 teams in each category do get medals, but it's that trophy that matters the most. You want to drink from the winning cup. What a nice rehydrating beverage, or water maybe. But here we are, back to the action. Solo Wamos looking a lot more comfortable on this side of the pitch than they were on the other side. Now here's Fana. Fana finding Azurine, and that's snatched away by Angelin, who's still claiming possession. And stepping out of a comfort zone is the custodian of Solo Wamos. And that was dangerous living. Fana almost getting it past Clara. So it is quite tough when you look at the way that all this game's panning out.
Okay, carry on. 2 ball. Okay, 3 balls.
And that's straight past the target, so no worries still for Tiong Bahru as they continue to cruise with that 1-0 scoreline. Well, it's just a single goal that separates the teams between victory and defeat, and keep in mind the fact that that is a very painful scoreline, if you ask me. It's about those big scorelines that make a difference, that turn out to be a one-sided affair. So yes, Solo Wamos have really got to pull there and will act together, pull a bunny out of the hat or a ball out of the pitch, whatever you call it, and actually hit the target. And that's a decent enough effort once again. She's done most of the work in today's game, Fana, but a good save by the Tiong Bahru custodian. Here's Angelin back again. Finding Vinat Lim on the right flank. Vinat unable to get it past Zahira. Now here's Azurine. And Clara doing her best down the right, but doesn't hit the target, so she's not going to be concerned too much. Just about a little over a minute and a half left, and Tiong Bahru might just reap the benefits. Or pretty much savor the fruits of their labor. Hasn't been too much of a challenge from Solo Wamos, unless they throw a spanner in the works right at the end, and that's Tiong Bahru custodian with defensive play. Well, she will grant Solo Wamos a closer opportunity, but she wouldn't be too concerned about it. Well, don't forget that the ladies on field will have been involved in other action just before this game, so it's back-to-back matches for them. It can be tiring. There's no doubt about it. There is a bit of physical strain. There's a bit of mental strain as well when you're talking about strategy and gameplay. Of course, it makes it a tad bit easier with 4 players aside, because then you tend to read each other's games a lot better than having to read 11 players at the same time, and that becomes really difficult. And this time around, sticks her hands out, but the Tiong Bahru custodian has done well. Azurine, not too happy. She really has been trying to pull her team level, but it's been a bit of a struggle. And the fact that Tiong Bahru are keeping that attack alive, it doesn't really help. I would think just a tad bit too late from Solo Vamos. They've been very active in the last couple of minutes, but they spent a majority, or 60 or 65% of this game actually playing, not defensive, but playing the passive team. And that was so close. What an opportunity missed. Fana plumb right there. Defensive slip up by Tiong Bahru, and Fana just failing to grab opportunity by the horns. It was a bit difficult, there's no doubt about it, but that could have changed the entire result of this game. It would have been an electrifying finish. Having said that, all the same, it's a well-earned victory by Tiong Bahru FC, and that sole goal by Angeline Hangyan Ping really nailing the victory for them. Last-minute dash by Fana that could have changed it had she found the target, but then again, she was the most valued player of Solo Vamos on field, there's no doubt about it. So it's finished. Tiong Bahru FC 1, Solo Vamos 0 in the Girls Open final, with Tiong Bahru winning the trophy. We shall get into the prize presentation in just a little bit, and then don't forget we've got more events coming up. We've got the boys 16 final, and we also have the girls 16 final. But for now, stay with us as we get into the prize presentation in just a little bit. And we are on to our next prize presentation in the Girls Open category. We start off with, of course, the third place team, which was last Kopek. They are the team that did, of course, fairly well. Remember, as I said earlier, back-to-back matches for all these teams. So it has been a tiring affair, but an affair well worth the wait, because they've trained for this, they've prepared for this. So third place finishers is last Kopek. And I did see a lot of their semi-final with Tiong Bahru. They really were playing their heart and soul out, but Tiong Bahru just packing that slight edge over them, and that's what made the difference. We will, of course, have our runners-up and the champions also will step up to receive their silverware, but that happens in just a little bit. For now, it is the third place team, last Kopek. A reminder once again that this is the SingaCup 2021, an initiative of Dynamic Concepts. So we've been in the running since 2011. We've had exciting times, we've had our obstacles, we've had our hurdles, and we've been able to overcome them. So last year, couldn't really get out and have much of the action on field, so we took it online. And we had some fantastic games, some great contests online. It was the thrill of it. And now that's actually become an extension of this, and it all boils down to one thing, where for SingaCup, it's all about sports development, getting the youth out there, grooming them for the big stage, and hey, maybe we're finding some big stars in there. So here we have it now. Solo Vamos come on next, and Solo Vamos are the runners-up of the Girls Open. They receive their silverware from the tournament director, Selva Kumar. It's been a tough one for Solo Vamos. They did have to fight it out in their semi-final, and then they had a very tough battle with Tiong Bahru. And as I said, to go down by a single goal separating you between, the championship and the trophy and your second place finish, well, sometimes can be just a tad bit bothersome. But there's always positives to take from it. The fact that you didn't let in anything more than that. So second place finish, and it's been a worthy one for the team. They did fight tooth and nail, and they've got their coach Rauda, who's along with them. So the Girls Open category, where you have not just girls in their teenage years, but you also have girls who are experienced in the adult category, which is why it's called Open. You have a mix of players Sometimes you do get players who come in from the leagues. Very, very interesting. So there it is, the coach and a band of young athletes or young ladies. They've enjoyed themselves, certainly. They've absolutely enjoyed themselves. And that's really what you want to do, get out onto the pitch and play. It's not just about the contest, but it's more about enjoying the game. Enjoying what you do best. Matters most, and here it is. They're certainly going to enjoy this even more, and I'm talking about the Tiong Bahru FC team, the champions of the Girls Open category in the SingaCup 2021. They were excellent, they were organized, didn't do too much, nothing flamboyant, just stuck to the basics, very clinical even with their goal, even with their efforts, and sometimes it just pays to play by the rule book. Or when you play orthodox, it sometimes will reap great benefits. So here's the trophy being presented to the team, and aren't they an excited bunch? Well, I would be too if you had to go home with a championship win, no matter what the contest. So here it is. The captain and the tournament director Selva Kumar holding that trophy out. Now the team will get together for a final shot. Tiong Bahru was coached by Jacqueline. Coach Jacqueline was around. She was very active in the entire process of the game. And final shots being taken. You want to capture those moments, stick them into the archives, keep it for a rainy day when you can pull them up in later years, or maybe when you actually step up to playing in different clubs. So there it is, the Girls Open Finals winners, Tiong Bahru FC. And with that, it's time for us to take a bit of a breather, but we'll be back with you right here at the Kate Sports Park at Turf City, where the action continues with more football in the SingaCup 2021. Don't go anywhere, we'll join you back again real soon.